we'll just say the Lord's Prayer, and what comes out is what comes out. The angels will come out. The Lord's Prayer. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Hope we don't have to stretch next. Let's just sing As the Deer Pan.
These are my sons, Jackie and Susan.
Nice to see you.
Nice to meet you guys.
They're twins, but they don't.
Is that right? Yeah.
I'm a twin identical, but yeah.
Is that why you've changed your hair colour? Be a bit different.
No, he is. Yeah, it's one dark and one light. Yeah.
He was blonde hair.
Yes.
He's like
Blonde hair, blue eyed. Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
But internally, he's more like me. Externally, he's more like me.
Oh.
You get the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Actually. Let's sing As.
Well, I'm sorry you've both been summed up, so.
Yeah, that's right.
So you're
Find
all
yourself.
completely individual.
Beautifully said. Yes, the deer panteth for the waters, so my soul longeth after thee. You alone are my desire, and I long to worship thee. You alone my strength, my shield. You alone make my spirit live. You alone are my heart desire, and I long to worship thee. You're my friend, and you are my brother, even though you are a king. I love you more than any other, so much more than anything. You are my strength, my shield. You are my spirit. You alone are my love, desire, and I long to worship you. I want you more than gold or silver, only you, 'cause that is mine. You are the only forgiver and the Lord of my heart. You is my shield. You alone made my soul renew. You alone are my love, desire, and I long to worship you. As the deer pant. Yeah. Straight out of the Psalms, isn't it?
That's my auntie's favourite.
We should say a quick prayer. Lord, this day is your day. We awoke this morning because of your gift. Each moment you create afresh. may we celebrate in that and be conscious of you and loving our neighbour.
So we're up to page 23. I actually took note of it finally.
Page 23.
Yeah,
Well done.
yes, I know. So we're actually sort of.
Oh, yeah. We're still early on.
Yeah, so yeah, we've got a different book. We're in,
people online.
we're in this section. Our nature after death depends on the kind of life we lead in the world. Where?
I'll pick it up.
Yes, you'll work it out. Yeah, it's probably halfway through that section. Yeah. Yeah, so the section that we're at is the first paragraph that starts on that page 23 that starts with we.
We
So
may also gather. Thank you.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Just need to get this fixed up.
Yes, yeah, we'll bring it up on the screen.
There we go. We have it one.
So we're up to the we may also gather.
Higher or lower?
Just there.
Just back here. We may gather from this. No.
We may also gather.
Yeah, is it a different, slightly different version?
We may also gather that we are loved.
Oh yes.
After death.
Oh yes, of course. That's
We are
beautiful.
loved
Yeah.
and kept.
Oh, it's at the bottom of the page there. Yeah.
There it is. We may also gather. Yep.
Yep.
I'll stand here and we'll change it as you read.
So is anybody wanting to read? I can read. Oh, yeah, yeah.
We may also gather that we are our love after death from the fact that anything that does not agree with our dominant love is then removed and apparently taken away from us. For good people, what is removed and apparently taken away is everything that disagrees and conflicts, with the result that they are admitted to their love. It is much the same for evil people, except that is what is taken away from them is everything true. For good people, everything false is taken away. Either way, the result is that ultimately everyone becomes his or her own love. This happens when we are brought into our third state, which will be discussed below. Once this has happened, we constantly turn our faces towards our love and have it constantly before our eyes, no matter which way we face.
Coming up.
Well, I wouldn't mind saying that I think this is probably the number one fundamental difference between a mainstream Christian understanding of heaven and hell and what I honestly believe is a much more right understanding of heaven and hell. So in the mainstream, as we know, heaven and hell are just the results of judgment.
You know, everything is supposedly weighed by God and judged, and you are either in or out. But this here is very, very different, because it's saying what's really happening is not that God is judging us when we die in that sense. It's that we are allowed to become our love. While we're in this world, we have social constraints and other sorts of constraints. We're actually able to realize that love. The end result is heaven and hell, is that there are, you know, almost immense heavens where God resides, and hells where there is no God, because people are realizing their love. So this to me is really key. Sorry, Mitch, when you were gone, we were just reading how when we die, we become our love. So that's why it's so important to work on the love you have in here, that it's God's love and that it's love for the neighbor. And that's not working your way to heaven. That's actually letting heaven come into you now. So that when you die, that's what's manifested in the presence of God.
I can't help but think of recruitment phases, right? And when you said if you're applying for, I applied for the Navy when I left school, and I could tell when they were recruiting, they were looking at all the little facets in your life that you've done that makes you to where you are now.
Right.
And they sum that up, where some employers don't. And you sort of feel, I know this might sound deep, this is very externally what I'm getting from this, is some employers will work like the Lord, and they'll put you on a merit list, and it's what you love. Like say, oh, I love picnics in the bush, or they like these little attributes. Some will just go, whatever. Some employers will look at the whole picture and go, ah. Some will be like what mainstream is. Oh, no, you don't make this. We don't want to look. Do you know what I'm saying?
You didn't pass that degree or something, is that?
Yeah, or
quite get these marks. And
but so I used to do, I don't want accolades, but I used to do volunteer work in hospitals when I was 17 to open up my communication skills. That worked for me way more than any other degree or anything I had. But some employers didn't see that. They thought, oh, well, do you know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
And I think that we can sort of use this system in the way what we're talking about now is my love was to communicate with people. I didn't get paid for that. But the right employer will see that and go, I like this.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
Whereas other employers, oh, no, that's just, that's not material. There's no letters after his name. We don't care about that. And I think if we get our head around in our life here, that if we do what we love, it's going to help us in the long run. You'll get the right employers. If you're going to do something you totally don't want just to get letters after your name, sorry, you're not going to really get what you really want.
No, Chris, I completely agree with what you're saying. And it is so important that we are actually being authentic and following our loves.
Yeah.
That is key.
Yeah, before we go to heaven.
Before we go to heaven. So
I don't mean to go round.
No.
That's what I was getting.
No, you're right. Hold that thought. Let's be authentic. Let's be authentic. Let's stop with our masks. Let's pull our masks down and be authentic. That's an extremely important point, because otherwise there's a lot of fakeness going on, and that affects you spiritually as well when you pass as well. So then take that idea and now lift it up to another level where not everything I love is good or right. And I don't want to be told that. But if I'm a genuine spiritual person, I will embrace it painfully and transform myself, because it's not that God is trying to make us miss out or suffer. God is trying to create he is. He's creating a family of us. But there must be that freedom, or we're robots. And so the Lord is influencing us to choose good, but not making us choose good. Because down here, my definition of good is, I like to rob, steal, and kill. And the law says, don't rob, steal, and kill. So that's in my way, and an annoying truth or fact. But what happens is when you leave the body is that annoying truth or fact is removed. and that person's able to fully become their love, which makes hell. Or in the opposite sense, I might love what's really good, but I'll have wrong ideas about things, and they're getting in the way of my actually truly being good. Well, those wrong ideas are removed, and in our third stage, he's going to talk about 3 stages that happen to us after we die. In our third stage, we're instructed, all the falsities are stripped, and we're instructed in true wisdom and true light, and it sets you free like a bird out of a cage. You just set free. But I just think, so I love what you're saying, hold that idea of authenticity. But I think what's key here right now is the realization that it's not enough to have accolades of, I go to church, I love God, but I'm not really working on my inner loves. That's going to affect who you become when you die. But mainstream Christianity has unfortunately missed this point and said, don't worry about that. You've said the prayer, you're in. And this happens in a lot of different religions too. It's not just, I can't speak for other or that I don't know enough about, but there will become external performances versus real transformation that goes on inside. And if you keep this key in thought, we are going, the idea of the manifestation, people talk about, the manifest on life right now. If you hold a thought long enough, if you believe something long enough, it'll manifest. Well, it's a distortion of this very truth that after we drop the body, we're going to become the real core of ourself, our loves. And that gives me great hope and some healthy, godly trepidation as well about not wanting to hide who I am. Be authentic, as you say, Chris, but make sure I'm not lying to myself. That
I used to want to help people. I felt good when I was helping people, but the reason I used to do it was so that I'd feel more comfortable or in control. And so I've looked at that with the help of a friend, and now I like to help people and see them free if they, in a way that I feel they're assisted, but not in a way that necessarily makes me feel better.
you just preached my entire sermon last week. Those that were here, that good works, we all do good works, and they can look identical.
Yeah.
But we're all doing them because, like you were saying, Mitch, earlier, we're all doing them because we're deceiving ourselves and others. I've got a real invested interest in why I'm doing this good works, because I plan on running for office and becoming the next prime minister. Well, I better have a really clean, record. So true love and charity is what you just described. Examining my motives, dropping the selfish one, and loving and caring for someone purely because they need that love.
Well, in one of your readings you read, I think it was yesterday or Friday, it was saying that you send out. There was, you have that, and the end thing really struck a chord. It says, when you genuinely want to see someone smile, along the lines of to make their life better. And I think that's something internally we all have, but it's been distorted and covered over of layers of, you got to look after yourself in this life. It's dog eat dog world.
Well, I love what Mitch was saying. He was saying before, we almost wish that was recorded, what we were saying before the circle, Mitch, because we're all coming from this lower level of mixture and we're learning to let the Lord purify us. That's what regeneration is. And the Lord doesn't despise the fact that we've got self-interest. If you don't have self-interest, you're dead. You're going to be taken out by a dog eat dog world. So you need wisdom. And then that self-interest becomes more about keeping yourself alive because of the good you're doing in this world. In fact, I think when you get there, and Ian, you speak more on this than me, you're ready to leave this world. You're ready to leave, but you stay because your heart is to stay because you're still making a big difference on people. You know what I mean?
Your purpose to God.
What's that? Sorry,
Your purpose for God.
Your purpose.
Is that what you mean? Really?
Your purpose
That's
for good, but then
that's
then
why you stay.
push it down into
because
God
you're
as well.
purposeful.
Your purpose for God, for good.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's funny, as you get older, like I had to get people to remind me, I'm not doing anything. What am I doing? I'm not Mother Teresa, or I'm not this, but my sister, my mum and Jane say those little words. I want to know about people at the cash register, you know, little things like that to make them smile. And you go back and
Take a genuine interest in people.
yeah, and you go back when I was in the workforce and just that little bit of glimpse of goodness from someone, the ripple effects it has. You know, they go home and go, oh, I met this really lovely guy today. He was, and then they're feeling, oh, she's happy today. Oh, well, and then do you know what I mean? It really carries on. So little waves, I think, ripples. But this world wants us to think we need to make waves, but we don't. Just
So
little.
true.
I think that's just my take on it, anyway.
No, so true. When we don't count the afterlife, your motives are so different. They're so different. You don't count the afterlife.
But the bucket list thing, I don't know about that. I don't know. I'm a little bit. I don't know. Like it's like you're gonna be dead nothing. You've got to do it now. Go out and do all the physical things you need because you're gonna be dead. You know what? And I think of Bill's take, mate. I don't care what you do at my funeral. I'll be off exploring. You know.
Which is a way of dealing with a bucket list. I had a phase in my spiritual life where I was sort of taught myself talk was this life is the dream, eternal life is the real. And you hear about people who've had near-death experiences and they say, I can't describe how clear it is. This is the fog. This is the fog. But there is you're so aware, the colours, the life is real. So you could have the perfect dream at night, and where you're the millionaire, you've got everything, all the toys, all the money, everything. You can experience anything you want in life. It's all there. Then you wake up, and it's actually rather disappointing. Or you could plan for that in the real world. You know, the dream is what it is. This life is what it is. Let's make what we can of it. But when we want to wake up, we want to wake up to a better resurrection. You know, that's a bucket list. That's my way of dealing with a bucket list.
Mitch is wanting to talk.
Sorry, Mitchell.
No,
Yeah.
no, sorry. Oh no, I was just saying, that they're like, you know, that idea of karma.
Yep.
My thoughts are like karma is pretty active, then it translates into something that's sort of like different to karma. So a lot of people say karma, but then you go onto the other side, and that's when I think it hits like the mystic side of things, as in reincarnation. So, um, in like a lot of people say that the good things they don't see the good results.
Yeah.
In what they do, because like a lot of people do good things by people that either deserve it, or some you turn around and you say don't deserve it, and then you help people that may end up hurting people, or you enable people. So, like, because I've thought a fair bit about it, because I've got lots of time to think about these sort of things. There's when you're helping someone, you got to sort of like, I was thinking about it like heaps, is that you got to decide on the character of the person, but like basically be a good judge of character. But then I think the general line of helping people is that if you enable people, like you can empower people, and then you can enable people. So enabling someone is a form of helping someone, but empowering someone is sort of, as long as you're reading social cues, is basically pretty safe. But if you enable someone, then it's like, okay, well, you're a bad person. I don't know it yet. Here's a gun. Here's 50 rounds of ammo, 5 clips or something.
Protect yourself when they're going to use it for something else.
To the bad person.
Yeah.
And you may not know it, and you're enabling that person, and then he goes shoots up a school. But if you empower that person, like a lot of those school shooters in the USA, this is a drastic example, but a lot of those school shooters in the USA will like, imagine if you empowered those people, they're probably getting bullied.
Yeah. Yeah.
So empowering those people, and that's a form of helping them.
Now I've got a story that you're saying about a minister I met.
Yeah.
He was a carer for this young man, and I think he had muscular. I don't know. He had something, and he would say to this patient, he would say, "Look, there's a love for you in heaven. there's love for you in heaven. Don't be in a rush to find. He was so desperate to find a wife,
Oh,
and
wow.
he would say, this minister, he would say, that you're worrying about this too much in heaven. So he went along, got a whole heap of drugs, saying he was in pain, and OD'd himself and killed himself because
No.
he had said there's a love for you in the next life. So this man, I won't mention names, this man, pretty much like you said with the gun,
Yeah.
he feels like he enabled him to go find his love. So
Yeah.
sometimes like you said, it's a really good way of saying it, because if you enable and empower, they're definitely two different things.
This,
Yeah, 100%. And they have like such a drastic result, different result. Like you can safely empower nearly anyone that needs empowerment, which generally usually the people that need help, the people that have been downtrodden, degraded, that sort of thing. They usually need a little bit of a pump up in who they are because they don't have that. They've either been on the streets, they've been discriminated against, they've been hurt, they've been bullied continuously by the neighborhood block. We're talking about the guys that don't have access to, like, because Australia, it's not a massive example or an emotive example, but in the USA it is. So, like, if you go to a neighborhood block, you got this kid continuously getting bullied, getting called a piece of shit, maybe gets dragged around the corner, gets his face and body excremented on or urinated on, and you hear about these stories all the time, and if you empower those people, those are the people that need it. If you enable those people in a negative way, so there's lots of aspects of this. So if you enable these people in a negative way, such as giving them money and they're taking drugs and alcohol recreationally, if you enable them in a negative way, then you're going to get a negative result, and they're going to give negative
And
results.
that's what the Lord used to do. He used to empower us. He would never enable us. You've got to stand up and fight these Pharisees and these Romans. He said it in a way that did empower them, didn't he?
and this is we have a teaching for this in the new church that touches directly on this. It's called indiscriminate charity. And what the new church teaches is that when you're not spiritually led, and you don't have the Holy Spirit, you're not being guided, and you're just trying to do good, if you're not careful and you don't have that wisdom, you may be doing indiscriminate charity, and then the end result is negative. You actually end up empowering their evil rather than helping them overcome the evil that's in their life. So that's such an important reason. I can think of one person who said to me, they said, I don't need to go to church. And I said, sure, totally understand what you're saying. I love God and I'm endeavoring to do the good I can. I said, yep, I'm hearing you. I said, for me, church, what we do is about getting together and giving each other more spiritual wisdom and helping each other learn God's leading, because we actually don't, we know God and we don't need to know God in that sense, but boy, do we need the wisdom how to touch this world and help people and not end up actually doing negative results as a result. And that's where coming to church is really about coming together and equipping each other and growing in wisdom and understanding, learning from the stories, learning from each other's mistakes, learning from the scriptures, the deeper meaning, and then actually doing a better job as a result. So I couldn't disagree with that person. You don't need to go to church for God.
And I like that
It's about
thought
each other.
that we see God in people. Like I see God in people. I do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
And you see that, and at all levels. Like every now and then you'll see someone that's angry, then they'll come down, and you start to see that. And like Ian says, we're the hands of God
Wow.
in this world. Sometimes you'll see little glimpses where these hands come out, then they come back in again. I remember the day after the shooting in Sydney,
Yeah.
we were getting Christmas presents up at the north side at this big sports store. And sorry, this is a little bit what we're talking about. And these two Islamic couple were there, and I could feel this. I could just feel them, like they were like conscious, and people were like, and they just didn't look comfortable. I said, Salam alaikum, brother, and you too, sister. And the big smile, like, oh, and it just quelled the whole situation. I don't think we do enough of that either.
Sorry, not to interrupt you, but can I just add something to that? Is if I've spoken to Christians when you said assalamu alaikum, but they're not allowed to say assalamu alaikum. And some Muslims, they're like, okay, that means you're
One of them.
one of them. It's a real weird cult like thing. And it's like when you said that, the smile and stuff like that. I mean, how hard is it? It's another language. Assalamu alaikum means peace be upon
Yeah,
Muhammad.
it's beautiful.
But why can't we say peace be upon Jesus to
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like shalom, you know.
Yeah, shalom.
Yeah.
Like, why is that a restrictive?
And I love when they say, "What's that mean?" I go, "Peace be upon you." They go, "That's lovely, but that's Muslims." I mean, yeah, they're peaceful people. Don't listen to what the media says.
Yeah.
I mean, but they have factions like we do,
Yeah.
and we met some beautiful Jehovah's Witness people. But I was a little bit lovely people who were Romanian. You're my brother, aren't you? You're my brother. Oh, you're my brother. He said, no, he's not our brother. Oh. In other words, I wasn't a Jehovah's Witness. He thought I was by the way I was talking, but I said, mate, you're my brother anyway, aren't we? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All these masks that we're stuck with, some of them we wear deliberately, some of them, this is what we were talking about before, Mitchell, the difference between belief and belief systems.
Social constraint.
Belief systems can often bind you and blind you, where, when you're coming from a real belief in God, it frees you. Yeah, you've got to know the difference.
True that.
Chris, would you mind if I read a little? Would you
Yeah,
want to read
no,
some?
you go for it, mate.
One
really-
thing that
no, sorry.
sorry, I know we
No,
have to
no.
move on, but
No, I'm excited
this-
about what's coming up. There's
this
some good
bit
stuff coming up.
about evil people having truth taken from them.
Because it's a bind. The truth is binding them up.
Is that because they're not being authentic with that truth, or is it that if you take it away, then they're not manipulating
They're
that
not.
truth?
Their authentic self is evil. Now the Lord doesn't want that, but the Lord allows each person to be themselves. So because their authentic self is to be evil, the truth is taken from them, so they're no longer restrained by that truth.
Nor can they any longer profane it.
Well, there you go.
So
It's
that
casting
is
your
sort of like
pearls before-
manipulation.
There you go. Even better said than what I said.
And if you're in an evil state, anything that's said to you that's good and true, you immediately turn it upside down.
Right. Profane it.
And
Yeah.
when you try and help somebody who's angry, and you say, look, you might say to them, well, where's your sense of forgiveness or something? They'll immediately distort that.
Yeah. So well said.
Evil has that in it, that it really reinvents what the truth is.
So they'll come back with justifications all
Yeah.
the
All the
time.
time. And the justifications are tied in with you've given them something like in Tough Man in the Spiritual World, you've given them something you might hope is going to turn them in a different direction.
Yeah.
But they're so steeped in their mindset, they say, yeah, but that only applies, the fairies or something like that. They're not interested in it because they're so full of their own love, whatever that love is.
They'll say you're taking that too far.
You're taking all of that.
That truth is being taken because you don't know my situation.
Yeah, because you don't know.
And it's sad that you start questioning, hang on, am I right here? Is that evil spirits going? And oh no, I'm the right person. I'm right because I'm within the Lord. I'm walking the path He's giving me. No, I can't stray from this. Oh, hang on, what if they? No. It's a constant battle, sort of being in its own.
Spiritual warfare.
Yeah,
It is.
But here tells you, I tell you, it does.
Regenerating is a battle. Regeneration is not. And we do the battle so that we don't have to do the battle anymore.
But it's painful.
Oh, yeah.
But once you get through it, you don't sit there sum out the stats of the wounded or killed. You just go,
Peace.
ah.
It's, yeah. The peace. Did
Yeah,
that
you
get to
can-
the? Did that get to? Did that
Yeah.
get to the question though, Jane?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm glad you asked it though, because I loved Ian's. You know, the truth is like that, isn't it? We can make a statement and it's true, but it's only a small piece of the puzzle. And then Ian sort of threw this spotlight on. Well, hang on. The Lord also wants to protect the truth from being violated and profaned. Yeah, amazing.
I just keep thinking of John the Baptist whenever I go crazy, and I go, he just stuck to his convictions, and he knew he was preparing the world for the Lord.
Yeah.
And you just got to keep thinking of him. He's my inspiration because he's nutty like me. So
He was beautiful. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it, because John the Baptist was beautiful. Where were we up to, Jane? Sorry, was it once this happens?
No,
All
all spirit.
Oh, all spirits can be led wherever you want, as long as they are kept in their dominant love. Yeah, this is how you manipulate people.
Yes,
Yes, this is the secret of manipulation. Play on a person's dominant love.
we've got to find it out first.
You got to figure out what their dominant love is, yeah, and then you can manipulate. Such a person cannot resist, even though they know what is happening and think that they will refuse. Spirits have often tried to do something in opposition, but without success. Their love is like a chain or a rope tied around them, with which they can be pulled and which they cannot escape. It is the same for people in this world. Our love leads us as well, and it is through our love that we are led by others. It is even more so when we become spirits, though. Isn't that a thought? I've often thought that this life is, you know, if you're old enough, you remember the cars when they didn't have power steering and they didn't have good suspension like they do today. Really old tanks, you know. Well, this life is like power steering and good suspension. The Lord gives you experiences, but He can buffer them. You can learn here. When you drop the body, it's all on like King Kong. It's just, you know, it's you cannot escape any longer the inner realities that are in you. They must be brought to the surface and dealt with. So I think a
Great
long
analogy.
life is a blessing. Sorry,
great analogy.
yeah, a long life is a blessing because the Lord's giving you this beautiful buffer zone of the physical body and the physical mind to deal with your inner stuff. Now, okay, I interrupted there the reading, sorry. It is even more so when we become spirits, though, because then we are not allowed to present a different love or pretend to a love that is not ours. We can't wear our masks anymore. Can't wear your gloves or your boots, which keep the, you know, make the experience less painful. We come into heaven if our love is heavenly and spiritual, and into hell if our love is carnal and worldly without any heavenly or spiritual dimension. My evidence for this conclusion is all the people I've seen raised into heaven and cast into hell. The ones who were raised into heaven had lives of heavenly and spiritual love, while the ones who were cast into hell had lives of carnal and worldly love. Heavenly love is loving what is good. Oh, thank you. Right arrow. Just press the arrow button. Heavenly love. Heavenly love is loving what is good, honest, and fair, because it is good, honest, and fair, and doing it because of that love. Notice the lack of mixture there. It's because it is good, honest, and fair, where I'll do what's good, honest, and fair because it is good, honest, and fair, and it benefits me. So there's a mixture. But here, heavenly love doesn't have that mixture. If we love these things for their own sake and do or live them, we are also loving the Lord above all because they come from Him. We are also loving our neighbour because these things are our neighbour who is to be loved. Carnal love, though, is loving what is good and honest and fair, not for their own sakes, but for our own sake, because we can use them to gain prestige, position, and profit. In this case, we are not focusing on the Lord and our neighbour within what is good and honest and fair, but on ourselves and on the world, and we enjoy deceit. When the motive is deceit, then whatever is good and honest and fair is actually evil, wow, and dishonest and unfair. That is what we love within the outward appearance. And I'll stop there and I'll just say one other analogy. If I give you the most cleanest, crystal clear, beautiful water from the, highest fresh mountain, and I only put 1 part per million arsenic in it,
Uh,
is it good?
No,
Is it something you want and you want to drink?
no.
And I think that's the kind of the point that Swedenborg's making here, that when our mixture gets into the heavenly good,
Still no good.
it's no longer good, which is Ian's point, why the truth is taken away from an evil person so that they don't pollute it. Yeah, profane, yeah.
Do you think truth is taken away from an evil person because they can do more, like you said?
They can be themselves. That is in the
Do you
Lord's
reckon
heart.
it's that, or they can just do more? Truth cuts both ways. Truth hurts, or they can do more damage to other people.
It's both.
Yeah, I would agree with Susan. It's both. I'm thinking of the afterlife though, Mitch, when someone's left this world, the Lord, that's what hell is. Hell is releasing that soul to no longer be under the constraints of God, because God is love. And God wouldn't be love if he didn't allow that person to go and truly be the thing they love.
They can go and kill someone, and then they can both come around again and kill each other again, and if that's what they love.
Well, Swedenborg describes an experience where he was taken always with angels. The Lord and the angels always guided him. But he was taken into one of the hells and to see what things happened there. And he came across a person who was a knifer, he called them. In their earthly life, they just were assassins and loved to kill and use knives to kill people. And then he was shown what was going on in the mind, the delusion inside the bubble of this soul. That this person had grabbed Swedenborg and had knifed him and killed him. And yet in reality, that never happened. So if you ask me what hell is, it is our own delusions. Where heaven is the highest clarity and reality we can possibly have. We're the closest to. Sorry, Mitchell?
Oh, sorry.
No.
Do you reckon there's a hell in heaven? Because I heard what you're saying. Do you reckon there's a hell in heaven in the afterlife in between?
What do you mean by in between? Because you're onto something
In
there.
between rebirth? Because
Oh, okay, rebirth, yes.
it sounds really, really funny, but I sort of related it to this Dragon Ball Z comic that I used to read. So like back in the day, they used to have Dragon Ball Z, which is like, and then when they passed over, these characters that they then meet this big King Kai,
Yes.
or someone equivalent, and then he looks at the report and he says, and you got two doors, like one to the hell, one to like this other like nicer place.
Yeah.
And because it's Japanese, that it's a bit different. Then he reads through the report and goes, you have to go to this way or this way.
Yes.
And then basically my thoughts were like, it sounds really controversial.
Mhm.
Is like a midway point between Buddhism and Christianity,
Uh-huh.
or Buddhism and Abrahamic faiths, which sort of makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
How it may work with life cycles and that sort of thing, is that there would be sort of like a judgment.
Well, if I could just hold that thought for a sec.
To deliberate whether you
Just hold the thought for a sec, Mitch.
Yeah.
It's our understanding in the new church that we don't reincarnate. But look, we may. It's possible. I hold to the fact of the possibility of it. So if that's what happens, if the Lord has chosen that we do reincarnate and we, to part of our life lessons, according to samsara or whichever, version of Buddhism or even Hinduism that you look at, the goal is to escape the cycle of reincarnation. So there will come a point eventually where the soul is no longer incarnating over and over and over again. Yeah? Could it be that soul is ready to leave that cycle because they are now fully becoming the angel they want to become, or they're fully becoming the devil
Well,
they want. Like, because Buddhism holds the idea that you escape reincarnation to just be good, to go into the light, to become one with the divine. But what if the idea is actually more God is love, and each soul is allowed to leave and find their true path?
well, that what you're saying is actually my understanding,
Right.
but just in between the heaven and hell.
Yep.
I think that like my perspective, maybe the wording is slightly different.
Yep.
You know how they have or like in Chinese Taoism they have, or Chinese culture they have the God of world or
Yep.
gods, but you could really like to them it's definitely gods.
Yes. Plural
But
gods. Yes.
to the English language, sometimes it's considered deity, and then Brahman is a different understanding
Yep.
or a encompassing version of God. And then
Demigod or lesser god. Yeah, like
well, not Brahman itself, but
no.
but the yeah, but like Shiva, that sort of thing, like a demigod deity, like deity sort of thing. I'm not sort of familiar
Which,
with
by the way, actually, from a New Church
yeah, I agree.
perspective, fits more with angels, because angels are given powers according to their love of use and love of service.
Yeah.
You know, if when we finally meet angels, you're going to think they're like demigods, some of them, you know.
Mm.
But of course, they only love the divine. They only give glory to the divine. Where on this earth, you know, lots of religions have gods and demigods, and they're all setting themselves up to be a supreme deity and fighting over it, in a sense. Look at the Greek gods. Look at all the different
See,
dramas that go on there.
what you're
But
talking, I mean, this is what we're talking about now is the world of spirits. So it is prior to actually going to
It's the
heaven
airport.
or going to hell.
Yep.
But you're still in communities that are more hellish communities in that world of spirits.
Some people can be in the
or
world of spirits for
heavenly.
years, and they all live up piled up in the world because they just are
Which is
still.
sort of what you're saying, that you're in a
Yeah.
place before you.
It's not purgatory, which I know you'd be familiar with that idea too. They're living their lives, and in a way, it is an incarnation. You know, but it's not over and over and over again. They've they. We're going to read about it here. He's going to actually say that some people, when you get to the 3 degrees, the 3 changes that we go through when we die, some people don't have to go through those changes. Some are just ready to go straight into the heavens,
Right.
and others are ready to go straight into the dark place.
And look,
They're ready, you know what I mean?
Look at Ian.
They've truly found
as an
themselves.
example. I don't think you'll need to be there very long.
Do you reckon that there is and also so much as you can become that, or do you reckon you just cycle back? Because if
What
you
you're
add-
describing sounds to me more like the
reverse.
spiritual world, where you're still sorting things through,
yeah,
and you can have hellish experiences
yeah,
because you're touching the border realms of the hells. It you know, it's if you've ever driven a self-driving car or auto lane assist, and the car pulls you over, and you've got to yank the wheel back.
Mm.
That's a bit like the pull of the heavens and the hells.
Yeah.
You're in that realm where you're not fully invested. You're still exploring who
Well, there
you
was
are.
that story where Swedenborg, he said that there's always angels will be at hand. And there'll be a soul in heaven, hell, going, oh, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. Immediately, an angel would bring them up, and he said that, so what do you want to work on yourself? You don't like being in this hell.
Yes.
And they just can't, that love is standing out like a sore thumb.
Yes.
And they can't
Let go.
shed it. They can't at all because
It's their true nature.
yeah, they can't defeat. That's what their love is. So there's angels will always be there, watching what's going on in the hells. But there's some people. It's a bit like I want to be. I'm going to go out to the world. I'm going to save the homeless and poor. I mean, you're like, really? That's a lot of work. Like,
If you don't mind me just to run a different idea over the top of this, there's a lot of talk on the internet about the matrix, about the simulation, about this world. Is it a simulation? And of course, I'm waiting for people to just get it. It's like, yes, it is. We're in the mind of God. This is God's simulation. But of course, if you take the matrix or the simulation idea too far, you kind of leave God out of it. It's kind of, or it's kind of like God set it up and good luck. This is the realm of choice, because in the Matrix movies, it becomes a question all the way through. what really is free will? What really is choice? If we're in a computer program and everything's programmed, where is the choice? There is choice, and that is us. The soul is choice. And we have to deal with the consequences of our choice. That's a part of the matrix, a part of this world. So the point is that this is God's matrix for our good. But each must have choice. And once we've made the choice, we've made our choice. We've chosen who we want to be. And no matter how much the angels want to try and comfort those souls, because they're just loving beings, as you said, Chris, they lift them out of those hells. And it's like, no. He says it. He said it here last month. We read, if I can go back, that we are taken to a society and we feel we are finally home. Yeah. It can happen here and now. Yeah. Like,
Oh, it is
oh, you
true,
mean in the
yeah.
circle?
And
Yeah.
I imagine people in my past that are very sensual based, they wouldn't be able to make it through that front door.
Yeah.
They couldn't. The pictures, all these beautiful, they couldn't go. They just couldn't. And this is the physical. And I just, like, you would mention anything with depth to these people. And like Ian said before, immediately, oh, I don't know. And they get on the defense. Oh. So this is what's happening physically here.
Yeah.
How's it going to be?
When all those buffers are gone,
There's no arguing.
House hearing's
It's
gone.
just there. It's all out there.
We're drawn to who we are. We'll be drawn to that place
Totally.
without any recourse.
What is love? Love is attraction. What is hate? It is repulsion.
The thing is also, Chris, those who are steeped irrevocably, if you like, in evil, they may not, as you say, go through that door, but where they do go, they think it's heaven.
Oh, I saw it recently.
Yeah, Mitch,
The road to
people think
heaven.
they're heaven.
The road to heaven feels like hell, and the road to hell feels like heaven.
It's funny you say that, and I hope this doesn't encourage not the younger people in the room, but funny you say that because I was thinking about that, and it's sort of true in a way because it's like they're at their own stages of development, and you can see why, right? Because uh you know what, I won't share it.
You can tell some of us later in coffee.
Yeah.
Share it in coffee later.
I'm not sure if you guys read the emails, but that I'm loving all the Easter readings.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah.
And this one really stood out. I was saying before, Jackie, you said something, and it says, "I will briefly explain how loving God and loving our neighbour are connected. With all of us, God flows into our concepts of Him
This is good.
and brings us true acknowledgement of Him. He also flows into us and brings us love for people. Goodwill makes the connection because God loves every one of us and cannot directly benefit us. That's amazing. He can benefit us only indirectly through each other. For this reason, He inspires us with His love, just as He inspires parents with love for their children. If we receive this love, we become connected to God and we love our neighbor out of love for God. Then we have love for God inside our love for our neighbor.
Beautiful.
Our love for God makes us willing and able to love our neighbor through Christianity. At reflection, can you think of a time when you wanted to help someone just because they needed it? Just because you wanted to see them smile? Just to make their life better? Can you recognize that this is the Lord working in you? Beautiful.
Oh, yeah, especially with that one, yeah.
It's just really stood out.
Sometimes though, I get conflicted because sometimes I think how I think to help them or want to help them with the state that they're in actually doesn't help them. It puts them into torment.
Wisdom marrying your charity. It's not a bad thing. You're getting wisdom coming into your charity. Too often we just hear religion say, "I'll be charitable," and we just go blazing like the bull at the gate, being charitable, and we make a mess.
Kind of thing.
And that's what I'm saying. Like with sports coaching and stuff as well, I've done a little bit, not much, compared to others in years, but it's the same thing with sports coaching and people in general. But a more extreme example is that your charity, so or charity in general?
I'm not, no.
Oh, okay.
I think of a particular person. I think if I want to say something to help them, and I think actually it doesn't help them. It puts them into more pain, probably because they're in a different place. And I'm just trying to help them get to a better place. But
You're learning that it doesn't.
I'm learning. I'm making a mistake there.
Well, even if you're right, where like you may not be right, like those people, they may not be prepared for what you have to say. Like some people, you'll just say something and they're having a bad day, or like you'll say something about alcohol. And you're a Jew or something similar, and you'll drink it in moderation. You would never think to yourself that these people will be an alcoholic,
Right.
and
You've given them permission to just go for it.
yeah, one time I had a drink with one of my mates who's First Nations, and he got really. Turns out he was under the counter alcoholic,
Oh.
and I had one or two, but then he kept going. So no harm done. He pissed off a few people, but no harm done. But the fact of the matter is, I wouldn't have picked him as an alcoholic. And when I had a few drinks, he wasn't an alcoholic. Like it wasn't in an alcoholic way,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean that every First Nation is an alcoholic.
No.
And that's what the other First Nations bloke said. Oh well, all of them are most alcoholic. So
Yeah.
no, they're not.
Judgment. No.
But it's like the fact of the matter is, you just helping seems like the right thing all the time,
Yeah.
and some people do flourish. But you know what the answer? So
Yeah. No. You.
you know what the answer to this is? You've got empathic people.
Yeah.
And empowerment helps them, but too much empowerment can turn them into a narcissist or someone with MPD, like the golden child in the narcissistic family system. So you've got empaths, super empaths, light empaths, then you've got dark empaths, narcissists, psychopaths, um, Machiavelliancy, or um, people that are Machiavellian. I think that's manipulation. I think
Sociopath.
and sociopaths,
Yeah.
and then you have so you've got all these types of personalities and people, and you've got spectrums of personalities from the Myers-Briggs. So to be able to help someone, the general
You need to
outline
be a
is
genius.
oh no,
No.
Or
I'm
listen to God. That's what I'm coming to.
Well, this is the one. Yeah.
empath or not, then you've got communion, people that are in communion. So you've got empath or not paradigms, and then you have to decide, okay, is it right to enable or empower these people? But you can usually tell. So if you've got someone on the street that isn't on drugs or alcohol,
Yes.
and they're an empathic person,
Mm.
and empathic doesn't always mean loving, because narcissistic people can
No, they just pick up.
love,
Empath means they pick up.
and it's a way of love,
Yeah.
and bring it back in. So to enable and empower, you've just got to make a common sense decision,
Well, I think
not to be burnt by.
I think you're displaying an example of how we can all learn more. We can all learn more to try and help each other. Like some of the things you're saying there are very, takes a long time to get them under the belt. And we should do that. We should all try to get more knowledge to help each other. But the one I use, I think will help Jackie, is the empty toolbox or tool bag. So that's me saying, I really feel like I want to help this person.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'll go and say this, and then I go, actually, that's probably not going to help. So you turn up with your empty tool bag, looking, asking, hoping, open the bag and see what God's put in there.
I love that
Yes.
because I think ultimately, with all the knowledge I've accumulated and acquired,
Yep.
it's sadly lacking. And the only thing I'm getting these days is to listen to what God's putting
Yes.
in there.
So the knowledge, okay, so you've learned things which has really helped. They're like the tools.
Yes.
But in this case, you're leaving the tools on the shelf and saying, I'm going with no tools. And then when you get there, and then the Holy Spirit says, remember this tool? And you go, yeah, this is going to help you here. Ah, Okay, so you pull on that knowledge that you've learned, but you didn't go in armed. Well, I'm going to say and do. You just try to go in with the empty bag and see what.
That's like on a whim. You just go.
Yeah. Oh, whims. My life's been full of whims.
Yeah. Well, the other day we went to the bakery and there's these huge big Māori guys, huge, and I had to say something and I went, mate, you can tell a good pie shop where Kiwis eating. Oh, yeah, and they were just so sweet. And on the way, see you, bro, see you, bro. I said, bless you guys, and they're eating their pies, crumbs like, bless you too, brother. I was just like, I had to say something. I just had to, and it was on a whim.
It was in the toolbox.
And then
It just came out of the toolbox.
And that was a big smiles with crumbs on their face. It was like awesome. Yeah.
Well, look, I think where do we get to? Because I think we nearly got to our first state of death after death, didn't we? We almost got to he's going to go through the 3 states that we go through. Top of page 24. We leave it there.
Well, yeah, we're at since these loves. Yeah.
I love the way you said a month
Yeah,
ago and you
we
went
will
back
leave
one
it.
page.
Right. Well, look, we're at since these loves. Let's just read it
Yeah,
down to the
yeah.
top heading, okay? Does anybody mind if I read?
Not
Okay.
really.
Since these loves define our lives, we are all examined as to our quality immediately after death. So there is a judgment, but it's up to us. It's the quality of our loves that makes all the difference. That's the real judgment. So we're examined by the quality immediately after death. And when we arrive in the world of spirits, and we are put in touch with people of our like love. If we are focused on heavenly love, we are put in touch with people in heaven. And if we are focused on carnal love, we are put in touch with people in hell. Further, once the first and second states have been completed, these 2 kinds of people are separated so that they are no longer see or recognize each other. We actually become our own love, not only to the deeper levels of our mind, but outwardly as well, in face, body, and speech. People who are carnal loves look coarse, dim, dark, misshapen, while people who are heavenly loves look lively, clear, bright, and lovely. See how the principle of manifestation has taken over fully there? The power to manifest, you are manifesting your true nature
How do
there.
you explain carnal to these guys?
Well, carnal is not I'm hungry, I've got to eat. That's flesh. But carnal is flesh nature. So when the flesh nature takes over, so all you live for is eating. If that's the case, you're letting the flesh nature now take over. There's nothing wrong with going, I must eat and I must eat regularly. That's perfectly healthy. Same with all our bodily desires. They're meant to serve and be there. But when they take over and you become obsessed with whatever, that's the carnal. The
So
carnal
it's
mind.
sort of like an addiction. You're sort of a bit addicted in a desire, really. It becomes more.
You're finding fulfillment instead of finding from the spirit and God first and then let the body just have its place. You're finding fulfillment in the body, and it never satisfies. It will always lead you in,
Well, we did legal
Always
studies at school.
always wants more.
And there was a charge, went to a court case of carnal knowledge. And I was like, what's carnal knowledge?
Carnal knowledge.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Knowledge of the,
Yeah.
So, okay, airport analogy. I love Chris bringing up the airport because many of us, when we first leave the body, we go to the airport of the afterlife. We're coming to a close. And you watched a movie the other day, didn't you, where we had a guy stuck in an airport.
Oh,
He had to
Tom
live-
Hanks.
Tom Hanks
Yeah.
living in an airport or something.
Yeah, and watched that the other day. That was like 2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
It's like last
Was it
month.
2 years ago? It felt like COVID has really messed up my life. Okay, so that some people are kind of like stuck in the airport, living there, living in the airport. But if you get there, so let's say you're First Nations, but you don't have English, then someone at the airport will turn up that can speak your language. Or let's say you speak Spanish and don't have any English, the Spanish interpreter turns up and takes care of you. That's what we just read there in that passage. When you first cross over, you will be connected with people that resonate with the same frequency that you do, and they'll help you sort yourself out, and then they'll disappear, and you're on your journey. You know,
A little bit like mentors in our life here.
yes,
Yeah.
totally like mentors. I say. Shall we? Is there any final thoughts or words? I don't want to. We've got to go. Come on, let's pray. Send your final thoughts in via email.
Oh, sorry.
Just write in via email. Lord, we are once again so thankful for each other. We heard from Chris today how you want to bless us, but you've chosen to work through us for each other. You want to bless us through each other. May we grab a hold of that vision, go out and truly be your hands, your feet, the body of Christ in this world, doing all the good we can and doing it for you and you alone. Yes, amen. Good circle, guys. Yeah, absolutely. You've got to let people go because Ian's got a yes, but it's a Chinese meeting, yeah. And you need to get to the train, don't you?
Congratulations on making that booking.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry. I was going to say there was another movie that was with Meryl Streep and this other guy, and they actually died, and they ended up in an airport, and they were on different shuttle buses.
I remember that.
To go to different places.
Yes.
Can't remember.
That was
where.
an old one. It was
Very
a long.
old. Meryl Streep young, and this other guy with fuzzy hair.
Oh, that
And
sounds,
he wanted to
that
go.
sounds like a good one.
Yes, I'll have to find it again. He wanted to go with her because he met her in this airport, and he really liked her. But they kept getting separated because she was a good soul, and he wasn't. He wasn't the same vibration.
I bet you find the connection in that movie will be a Swedenborgian influence.
I'll have to look it up. I'll let you know.
I bet you there was a Swedenborgian influence.
Yes.
Just like there was with
chose
the,
As dreams make.
well, What Dreams I Come definitely was absolutely completely written from
What's his name?
the writings, except for the very last scene. It just had that in.
Eric.
No, I was thinking of the one that had Christopher Reeve way back. You haven't seen that one?
Yeah.
It was young.
I'm gonna have to get
Christopher Reeve.
That's it. Doesn't matter.
Jane Seymour.
Tom was like,
Yeah, we're back in
take it to Niagara Falls.
Yes, that's exactly it. He travelled through time. And
Yeah,
he
yeah.
this intense.
And I'll stay with him just after
Jane
you check.
Seymour
And
and
then head over to
I looked at it the other day.
Not in time.
or 1.5
It
months.
is.
In time.
There is a movie called Inns, but I don't think that's
No,
the one.
That's a new one.
Just so
Great, I'm
people
excited.
Yeah, yeah. That's a pretty good
All the
message,
money,
though.
so
I mean, it was a bit
Great application, yeah.
carnal in its process, but that actually has a really good message in it. You know, have you seen it, Susan? Have you seen it in time?
Yes, but I can barely, if I started seeing it, it wouldn't come back to me, but
Where you've got a
Your
you,
timer.
you have a
for
timer
life.
built into your DNA,
Mm.
and if that goes down to zero, your heart stops.